I'm Michelle Spiller from the BMB Morning Announcements.
And I'm Adam Barbera from Talkin' Cookies. Welcome to BMB's new show, An Inside Look, where we take a deeper look into some of the important issues that affect our school today.
VPNs are common apps that most people have downloaded on their phones. Most people use VPNs to get around the school's firewall and use apps such as Instagram and Snapchat. Kids think VPNs are harmless and just a sneaky way to go around things that are blocked. What these kids don't know are they're dangerous to not only use, but they're also dangerous for the school's network. For more on what a VPN is, here's BMB's Ada McLaughlin.
As new trends arise in Mepham, one in specific is getting kids suspended. This trend is called VPN. Out of nowhere, kids were getting caught for using apps called VPN. These apps are used to make a private network for blocked apps that are usually unblocked when you're on your own Wi-Fi, like Snapchat, Instagram, and Spotify.
So basically what a VPN is something that sets up your own private network within a public network.
So it's your off period and you just remembered you forgot to send your streaks last night and don't want to lose your 400-day streak with your best friend, but don't know how you're going to get through the school's firewall. This is where VPN comes in. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network.
The school blocks websites such as Snapchat, Instagram, and YouTube, and all we want to do is use our Snapchats and stuff, so we use the VPNs to get around the school Wi-Fi.
Sounds like a perfect solution, but the school has been cracking down recently on VPN usage.
Personally, I think students use these VPNs to be able to get on to things that aren't on our school network that shouldn't be used during school, such as like to send out a Snapchat or get on their Instagram real quick, and it's just things they don't realize in the bigger picture, the harm that they're doing to the rest of the network throughout all the high schools.
As good as VPNs are, there's always a downfall. Many kids are outraged to hear fellow classmates are getting suspended for using them.
The school is absolutely ridiculous, and they block websites, so we want to get on our Snapchats and Instagrams, so we use the VPNs.
Students have begun using VPNs for exactly this reason.
Pretty much just to go on whatever they want in school, or some people might do it for protection, but I feel not everyone does that.
All in all, there are mixed emotions surrounding VPNs. To students, they're great and the school shouldn't suspend themselves and fellow classmates, but to parents and district officials, they're harmful and suspension is a great way to crack down on them. From BMB, I'm Ada McLaughlin.
So, Michelle, do you use a VPN?
I actually don't use a VPN because, frankly, I'm just too lazy to download it. But I could completely understand why everyone else uses it.
Yeah, that's understandable. So, the school protects the network by blocking access to certain websites. Some sites are blocked because of the contents they contain, some because they use too much bandwidth, and some sites are blocked because they come from an untrusted source that could cause harm to the network and the school servers. VPNs might look like a great way to use Snapchat or Instagram at school, and they might seem like a harmless way to bypass the network safely. But unfortunately, that's not the case. It can be really easy for hackers to gather personal information and sell it to shady people. And that can lead to issues with your security and identity being compromised. To better understand how VPN use can harm you, here's BMB's Rob Caminetti.
While many people think that VPNs are safe, the truth may shock them.
Do you think VPNs are dangerous?
No.
No.
While VPNs may seem like a more private way to browse the web, that is not the case.
VPNs can be dangerous to the phone or the user. It depends on where you get the VPN. If it's a free one, you're at the mercy of whoever created it. So nothing is free, so they're going to sell your data eventually when they close down the VPN or while you're using it. So if it's left open on your phone, any of that data that you're encrypting and sending to them gets screened through their server. And they can either keep logs of it or keep track of your information, your content, or anything that you're doing on your phone.
VPNs are filled with security problems, allowing hackers to steal your IP address to engage in illegal activity. In 2017, 6.64% of users became victims of identity fraud. This number was increased by 1 million victims from 2016. That percent increased significantly in 2018. 60 million people have been affected by identity fraud, according to an online survey by the Harris Poll. Besides having security issues, some free VPNs can do whatever they want with your information. They are likely to sell it to third parties or even steal your identity. Next time you think about using a VPN, reconsider it. For BMB, I'm Rob Caminetti.
I didn't realize how much danger VPNs can cause to the users. Why do you think so many use them?
It's definitely because social media is a giant part of society today. And maybe when kids don't use their VPNs to access the network or whatever, it could be hard for them to get through the day without seeing what's going on in the rest of the world with social media.
Yeah.
So, but VPN use harms the school because the bandwidth that is normally reserved for education is being up by kids streaming movies and playing games. If you may not mind when your science teacher's PowerPoint presentation won't play, but using the school's bandwidth is the least of your worries when using a VPN. VPNs can also give hackers access to the school's district servers, where data of thousands of teams are stored. To explain what could happen if hackers gain access to this data, here's BMB's Jake Winkelman.
As VPNs have started to take over schools, it has been becoming a problem for school networks to be as fast as necessary. This can affect students and teachers in many ways.
Well, VPN stands for Virtual Private Network, which is a way that students are bypassing our school filters. And a lot of times students think that they're private because it's in the name, but the VPNs themselves can collect students' information, so it's not really private.
These networks can access websites that can be forbidden on the school or business network, as well as taking some private information from its users after shutting down its servers. Schools are affected by this as kids can use restricted websites and apps. These teachers have had experience with VPNs recently and describe the dangers of its free use.
Well, our network has firewalls that are built into it to protect the users and the school. So we have content filters and, like I said, firewalls that block malicious content that's always trying to break into our school. So we create these things to protect all of our users when you use your login or when you try and download anything from the outside of the network. So it's dangerous to the school because we have these things in place to protect us, and when you use VPNs, they open up that traffic.
VPNs can cause problems that can be very alarming to schools, but the nightmare scenario can be much worse, and it can be waiting to happen at any moment. With school networks now opened when using a VPN, hackers can get into the school system and student information, allowing them to steal data from the students like their names, addresses, and social security numbers. This information can be used to open credit card accounts and ruining their credit by the time they open up one themselves.
So you're allowing anything else outside of the network to pass information freely. So when you're connected to our Wi-Fi and then you use a VPN, you have channels that are opened up that we are trying to protect.
Although you think you aren't harming anyone or the school by using a VPN, it could drastically affect the network and your personal data. From BMB, I'm Jake Winkelman.
I can't believe what kids would do just to go on Snapchat and snap with their friends who are literally in the same school as them. Do you think kids think about how VPNs can harm them or the school?
Personally, I don't think that they're thinking about that, because they think it's just a secure way to do it. Again, they think it's a safe way to do it without having problems. And also, along those lines, people don't realize that hackers can use and sell their information to random people. It can be harmful to students, and most people don't realize that a VPN can be tracked from an IP address, and that means some potentially dangerous people could track where you are at any time. Administrators are suspending kids that are on these networks as they try to prevent it from happening. And if enough kids realize what's going to happen to them, they hope the threat of suspension will stop the problem. The school thinks they're doing the best they can to help protect the security of their students. And for more on the consequences of VPN use, here's BMB's AJ Freed.
School suspension is the least of your worries if you are caught using a VPN on the school Wi-Fi. VPNs are virtual private networks that allow students to bypass the school's filters and firewalls in order to reach blocked sites or protect their own data.
Our central office has a whole department dedicated to technology. We call it the help desk. The help desk also monitors use of VPNs through a lot of different monitoring programs. One of them monitors bandwidth. So when we see a student's use and their bandwidth is exceptionally high, we then can look at the other systems to verify if it's because of a use of a VPN.
Although using VPN helps you bypass all the block's internet websites, and it does jeopardize the school network, student Ryan DeLucia, a 10th grader here at Mepham High School, was caught and is now facing the consequences of using a VPN.
Well, if you get caught, which is really easy to do because they send an email to the school if they see that you're on it. So they'll suspend you, usually just for a day out of school, but you don't want that to happen.
At least 10. At least 10 have been given a 1-day out of school suspension for using it. The use of a VPN actually jeopardizes your data more because these vendors, these apps that are creating VPNs also collect the data, and what they do is they turn around and sell that data to marketing companies. So the use of these VPNs actually puts your data out there and jeopardizes your own security.
Ryan and many other students have experienced the dangers and consequences of using a VPN on school Wi-Fi firsthand, and if the usage of VPN does not stop, more consequences will follow. From BMB's Inside Look, I'm AJ Freed.
Suspending these kids seems harsh, but it also seems reasonable with all the dangers that exist for the district and for the students. What do you think about suspending the kids for using VPNs, Michelle?
I definitely think it is a good response at the moment, but I don't think it will fully teach them what they can and cannot do with VPNs because they are very dangerous to the school and for the kids themselves. But we hope you learned something about the dangers of using a VPN, and maybe you'll think twice before using one in your school. I'm Michelle Spiller.
And I'm Adam Barbera. This has been a BMB Inside Look.